So, well, good morning. I'm Katie Page. We're going to talk about building your AI assistant today, because how many of us don't need an assistant? Zero in every aspect of our life, right? So hopefully you'll use this in your day-to-day here when you're at work and in your classrooms and with your students or whatever role you have in the district. But also, maybe you can take these ideas into your personal life as well to see if there's a way that these custom gems can help you in your daily life. I've been using them a lot and I love it, so I can't wait to show you. Before we start, I'm curious, what is everybody doing for the 3-day weekend? Pop it in the chat real quick. Let's have our human moment, because in this day and age with AI, right, the most important part, human in the loop. So let's talk about our human things. Let's drop in the chat if you have any big plans this weekend. Maybe sleep is on your list. That's what I'm thinking about right now. Let's see. Oh yeah, Gabriella, good luck. Second time though. Easier than the first time, right? College trips, fantasy football, Barb. Why does this not surprise you? Who's your favorite, Barb? You got like a quarterback or somebody that like you're...
No, I'm literally going to just look at whatever ESPN tells me is the best next pick and pick it. I've never done this before.
Michelle Tantillo, I'm sure you've done fantasy football a lot. You got like a fave or something? Sorry, I asked you right when you put food in your mouth. I'm like, I'm going to wait until Michelle puts something in her mouth. I'm going to ask her a question.
I haven't done it in a while, and so it's usually hit or miss. I mean, if the suggestion is that they're a good player, they're a good player. I mean, that usually pans out pretty well.
Yeah. I did a practice draft and it gave me a grade of a B. So
okay, great. You'll be fine. You'll be great.
I am going to encourage you all to unmute. This is very casual if you have questions, but in the meantime, if you could make sure you're muted just so that we're not hearing your side conversations or chewing, but actually it's kind of a little human. So if you want to leave your chewing on, I'm completely fine with that as well. Okay, so if you could please open up, I find that Chrome works well because it's in our Google Workspace, but I guess it doesn't really matter what browser you use. But if you could go to gemini.google.com, ignore this word app, gemini.google.com. And when you get there, if you're already logged into your Chrome for work, you're probably going to see your 214 self over here on the side. Many of us have Pro. Don't worry if you don't. If it's asking you to log in, go ahead and use your District 214 credentials. For those of you that didn't hear me say it at the beginning, if you open the chat, I did put some links in there for you. And the one we're going to look at first is at the top, Build Your AI Team Guide. And so what we're looking at today is customizing this AI platform for what you do during the day. So normally if you open up ChatGPT or Gemini, like we're looking at here, and you type in, you know, some prompt of some sort, it's going into the entire bucket of Google Gemini, and it's pulling information out of there for you from that giant worldwide bucket. Well, what I do during the day, I don't need the entire worldwide giant bucket. I need just what I'm doing. So there are these little gems. If you look over on the left, it says Explore Gems. And let's go ahead and click on that. And over here, we can create our own. It says new gem on the side. You can see I have a few on the bottom, but they also give you a few. And if you click on show more, you can just kind of look at what's there. And it customizes what it's going to pull for you. And so there might be some there, you know, that you like in this giant show more list. You can see there's some pretty interesting things there. But we're going to look at creating one for ourselves. Before we do that, I want to show you a couple that I have created that have been very helpful for me. So I made myself an assistant. I would love to have an assistant. Dear Gabriella, is there money for an assistant? I know what the answer to that is. No. Are they hiring me an assistant? No, but that's okay. I've made my own assistant. And so once you make a gem, the edit is over here on the side. We'll get to that in a minute, but I want to show you what it looks like. If you sort of want to follow along, you could click on create new gem and just like look at the page, but we're going to do that together. So I called my assistant. Originally I named it Thor, and then it was like signing everything Thor. And so I just put it back to my assistant, but you can call it whatever you want. So what I did is first I took my job description, which I had AI help me create. And then I put that into AI and I said, if I were to hire an assistant, what might that job description look like? And so I had AI create a job description, like as if I was going to post it, for somebody who would be an assistant to me and what I do all day long. So there were a couple steps in there in between, which we can talk about, but that's where I got this instruction for the chat bot. I am telling it who I want it to be and what I want it to do. So I told it, you're acting as my assistant, you're motivated, you're organized, you know, all of these things. You know, you're helping me, and et cetera, communication, newsletters. I told it the name of my newsletter, although it knows from my history anyways, et cetera, PD sessions, going on and on and on. Then what you can do is you can load a knowledge base. So I put in my coaching menu, things that I offer up to staff. I put in my job description that I had AI help me write because, you know, I was kind of building this plane as I was flying it last year. And then I put in things like the Megadoc grading calendar because I need to know dates when things are. So if I'm having it draft an email for me, it can just look at that document and say grades are due, blah, because it says it here. I put in the brand book for District 214 so that if I'm having it generate an image, it has the exact right color of red for District 214, et cetera. And so I put the strategic plan in here as well because I'm helping with pieces of that on the innovative side. And so another one that I did real quick, and then we'll dive into doing this together, is for the teaching staff, I put in here redesigning a unit. And so let's go back, explore gems, redesign a unit, edit. That's where I want to go. Okay. So I told it that it's a master teacher navigating this new AI and education world. And I want to redesign units that are sort of AI proof. And I'm going to have it use UBD, understanding by design, and universal design for learning. I put some information about those two things in there. I talked about the SAMR model in here, how to direct student use of AI, et cetera. And then I loaded the SAMR model. I loaded a document that I made that had a lot more information in it. And then I loaded Bloom's taxonomy, which has now been revised for AI. And then I can just plug in here when I'm working with staff, like we used to do this worksheet, you know, help me redesign it for today's world. And it gives you just beautiful outline of things that maybe you hadn't thought of in the first place. So those are just a couple of ideas and things that I have put together. I'm running a new innovation and change committee, and I just dumped all my information in there so that I can draft communications and have it help me plan professional development and that sort of thing. So let's do it. The first thing I want you to do in the chat before we dive in is give me an idea of how you think you could use a gem in your role. Because by typing that in here to the chat, you might trigger something in someone else's mind to be like, oh, I didn't think of that, you know? So I want us to help each other right now and collaborate. What are some ways, and it might be something that I showed you too, that you think you could use a gem in your role? So take a second, let's think about that and type that.
Katie, as people are doing that, I have a question.
Yes.
If you created a gem, could you share it out with your PLC or no?
Excellent question. And I'm so glad you asked it because it is literally the first thing people ask. And Google claims that is coming.
Okay.
Right now, it's not an option, but I swear every day, I can't even keep up. Every day there's other new things happening. The great thing is you can copy and paste like your instructions and just give it to your PLC.
Right.
You know, you can be like, I made this instruction, you know, this prompt. The instructions is like a mega prompt, let's call it. Give it to them, and then you can say, oh, and these are the documents I loaded, right? And just link the
Right.
document. So that's kind of a pain, but yeah, they claim that the sharing is coming. That is going to be huge.
Okay.
Because I would love to just share this, you know, this redesign a unit thing. And so while you're thinking about that, yeah, timelines, schedules, dates. I like it. Sometimes it's hard to think about, like if you had an assistant, what would you have them do? Okay, so, oh, I like that, Michelle, differentiation. You could load all kinds of like philosophies and, you know, different ideas about how to differentiate, you know. That's a good one. So let's go ahead and try it. For those of you that are ready, you can click on New Gem. And while you're doing that, the links that I shared for you, by the way, they're pinned at the top of the chat, is I linked in here this building an AI team. For teaching staff, I have an assignment audit checklist. I shared with you my redesigning a unit that I dumped into my custom chat. And then the link to the brand book for those of you that might be interested. You can actually just get this right off the internet for $214. And so you can load it as well. In Gemini for knowledge, this knowledge base on the bottom, it only allows you to add 10 articles, like 10 different things. And so my hack for that is to just connect a Google Doc so that I can keep adding to that one doc. I'll just keep dumping stuff into this one doc, you know, down and down and down and down. Like I put Bloom's taxonomy in there. Like I just keep putting more and more stuff into this one doc to kind of get around the attaching 10 things if you have more than 10 things to attach. Okay, so in the building an AI team here, I've got the links that I share, but if you scroll down a little bit, it says building an assistant. So if this is something you're thinking about, I did give you a prompt to try. It says start by having AI write a job description for you. So you can copy and paste and fill in the appropriate little bolded things here and have it write a job description for you. Maybe you have a job description already, you know, as a PDF at your fingertips. For some of us, we're such unicorns, right? We do so many things outside our role that you might want to dump in a basic job description and then add a bunch of things. Once you have that, you can continue in the same chat and have it write a job description for somebody that would be your AI assistant. And so I've given you those two prompts for you to try in the background there. And then further down in this doc, you know, I even made it like a little simpler. You could just say, I'm an English teacher. If I had an assistant, you know, what would that be? What would it include? Job title, you know, what's the objective? What would you need an administrative assistant, et cetera. So there's stuff down here. I've given you some screenshots if you forget where you're supposed to go for exploring and then creating. And then a couple of ideas of a different AI team you might want to build. So redesigning a lesson, redesigning a unit, drafting IEPs, finding data from multiple sources. I'll give a shout out to Gretchen. Gretchen George put together little gems for each school building for scheduling. So she has like the student data and, you know, whatever data the master schedulers are using. So instead of by hand trying to see if there are 3 seats in a class, 8th period for Algebra 1, you know, she can just ask her gem because she spent some time and loaded the data there. So this document, I just keep dumping stuff in. It probably could be more organized than it is, but this is also very new, right? I just keep throwing stuff in this so you can revisit this document from time to time. Okay.
Katie, can I ask a really quick question?
Please.
When you're putting, when you're like, let's say copying and pasting a job description in, for example, are you putting it in that instructions box, or are you putting it in the box on the right where it says enter a prompt for Gemini?
No, you're all of the stuff here on the left is what we're going to do today. You're going to build it.
Okay.
On the right is how you would prompt it, just like you would prompt any AI, except that you're just then prompting your little custom piece. So you want to put everything under instructions. So instructions here is like a massive prompt, like very detailed.
Okay, I don't have time. Okay.
Yeah, Lisa, you're not muted, just PS.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Canfield. Sitting near here. I don't think it's like on Zoom. I'm not really in mind here. Chatting. I don't think it lets me. Oh, there we go. She did it. That's something different than Zoom. I don't think I have the power to mute there. So this is just like a detailed massive prompt under instructions. And then knowledge, my other little hack is when you go to add files, I like to add from Drive. So, you know, last year and all the time, you should be thinking about safety with all of these platforms. But we now have educator guardrails using Google Gemini in 2.14. We have signed agreements with Google Gemini. So we're already in the Google universe with our workspace inside of D14. D214, it is completely appropriate to attach to your district Google Drive and use documents that are in there. You can connect, it's fine. Even if there's data, it's completely fine. You can connect. It is not sharing any of this information with the outside world. It's keeping it within our little universe here. And the thing that I like about connecting directly to Drive is that I can connect here to a doc, which then I can be updating and I don't have to reconnect it. You know, I have to re-add something. You can add PDFs, totally fine for your knowledge. Put a PDF in there, except for that when that PDF gets updated, you got to come back in and edit this gem, remove that PDF, and then put the new one in so that it's current, like if you've got dates for something. So for example, you know, you might want to do fiscal year deadlines, like I was talking about with Franca earlier, like payroll deadlines, calendars, your curriculum, your lesson plans, your unit plans, your PLC notes. You know, the list is endless, right? Infinite. Whatever you think you're going to build here for yourself. But that's what I would do. I would just attach it and try as best you can to use a Google Doc so that you can just keep, you know, updating it and it's automatically updated. So yeah, there's the knowledge here. You only get 10. So put a few things in and then over here, you can test it, you know, try it out and see how that works. What other questions do we have?
I have a question.
Yes.
So when do you ever put something in instructions, or do you only ever add a document?
Instructions is the massive prompt you're going to give it. So you need to tell this custom gem what it is and what its function is. So for example, under my assistant in instructions, I told it, you are my assistant.
Oh, thank you very much. You need these.
And then I told it, you know, you're helping with communications. Your responsibilities are communication and you know, support. You're going to draft and edit. You're going to help create and update materials. So I had AI in the first place help me write a job description for somebody that would be my assistant, like if I were going to hire somebody. Feedback from PD so that I can improve, you know, future things. You have excellent written and verbal communication skills. I do not. I want my assistant to have excellent written and verbal communication skills. Ed tech, attach branded colors. Like you can keep putting things on there. And then whatever you attach down here supports that.
I understand. Thank you.
Yeah. And so use AI to help you. And actually, you could use Gemini here to help you brainstorm what you might use a gem for. So back out under new chat, you could say, whoa, I'm shouting here. I want to use gems to help me in my role. What are some ways to use a gem? You know, like that. Or just ask it something and see what it says. Drafting communications, report generation, content creation. So there you go. A brainstorming partner, writing and editing. It gave me all kinds of information. So you can ask it to help you. And this is not a bad idea either, to start with a pre-made one and then customize from there. That I haven't tried, starting with a pre-made one and then customizing it, but that might be another, you know, here's a learning coach. This is to help you practice new concepts. Tell me what you'd like to learn and I'll help you get started. Well, that's kind of fun if you're trying to learn something new, or if you want to show your students this one. That's kind of nice. Other questions? So,
Sorry, I have a question.
yeah, please.
Is there any way to get students to utilize this function, like the Gemini, as like an assistant for learning at all?
So I'm working with our technology team to talk about what we are going to unlock, you know, new level unlocked for kids. They already have Gemini and ChatGPT in self-service. Gems are not a part of the student app that I'm aware of. Of course, things are changing every day, but they're not in there. Right now, we're talking about possibly adding Notebook LM as another piece for them, which I think would be really cool. It might freak out some teaching staff. So we're having conversations about that. But yeah, it's not a feature right now on the app. So, but who knows, at 2 p.m. today, right? Things are changing so quickly. But yeah, I think it is really our job to teach kids how to use AI responsibly and how they can integrate it, being the human in the loop, and not just using it as an answer machine, you know, but to really use it as a thought partner and to help them create things that they want to create. Because if we're not teaching them, who is? We're 3 years into AI. And so there are some kids that went all the way through high school, right? And had no instruction. And there's like the Wild West. So I would encourage you to use it as much as you can with your students so that they can understand the cool benefits, you know, and like how they can use it, and to really use it as a partner and not just to do their math homework for them, you know. Questions?
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, I was planning on ending at 8. I'll stay as long as you want. I don't have a whole lot more to really share because I think you just kind of have to dive in and try it and see what it does for you, and then go back in and edit if it's not quite giving you what you're looking for. I'm going to just show you this redesign a unit real quick. So I went into gems. And all my gems are down here on the bottom. The one you most recently used will populate on the side, but the rest you have to go find under here. And so I'm going to go into redesign a unit, and I'm going to say, I usually give a worksheet to teach kinematics, equations, and problems. What are some other ways to engage students, giving them voice and choice in the product, but still demonstrating their knowledge of problem solving. I was a physics teacher, by the way, if you're wondering why I asked that. So let's see what it does. Kinematics, huh? My gem is getting sassy. It knows me too well. Makes me laugh. Okay, so the goal is to move students from simply recalling to applying. True, right? And so we're going to use Launch, Explore, Create, and Reflect framework, which, by the way, I've shared with you in the links if you want to take the document that I've already started. It's called Redesigning Unit for Teaching Staff. It's in the link at the top of the chat if you want to just take it and keep adding to it. That's great. And then it gives me all sorts of things here to do. And it shows me what it's using, the backward design, so it's using information like based in good educational theory here, which I like too. I love it. It's talking about vocab. It's giving me some missions, dropped objects, breaking car, projectiles. So, I would take this and I would read through it and take the pieces that I like and throw out the pieces that I don't. I would see what I could talk my PLC into doing with me, Michelle, and just see, where I land. You don't have to like do everything that it types out, and you of course want to make sure that you're analyzing what it says to you to see if it's good. But yeah, so play with these gems, and I mean, really the sky is the limit. Take the documents that you're accessing every single day over and over and over. You're constantly looking up things on Google Drive, put it in a gem and name that gem appropriately. And then you can just go there and let it look in the document for you. Let it do what computers do. Look for data and give you data. So
in that regard, I have a question. I want to use Gemini with spreadsheets and the Google Sheets. Would I use my assistant, or do I do it somewhere differently in the sheets?
I mean, there's two different ways you can do that. I would build a gem. If you're going into the same documents all the time, go ahead and build a gem and connect it to those Google Sheets. But also, if it's just a quick lookup, if you've got Pro, do you have the Pro account, Rebecca?
For Sheets or for Gemini?
For Gemini.
Yes.
You have the Pro account. So when you open, you should see this little star over here in Sheets. Like if you're in a sheet.
Okay.
You see that star?
I haven't done it. Hold on.
Okay. Well, anyways, you can look at my screen too. When you click on it, it opens, and then you'll see it'll give you some, Gemini will give you a couple things like, do you want to analyze within this? But then, oh, actually my gems populate here. Thank you for asking that, because I didn't even know that it did that. Fantastic. We're all catching up together. So this is great. And so your gems apparently will populate when you open up Gem. I swear that is new today. That is very exciting. But you can see there's a couple things here, or you can prompt it. You can ask it to whatever it is you're doing, to look for a certain piece of data or to analyze a trend. So if it's just a one-off inside that spreadsheet, then you might want to just go in this way. But if it's something you're doing over and over, I for sure would create a gem. And if nothing else, just to practice with gems, because that might spark an idea for you down the road, right? Like, yeah, I tried this thing, and then you're doing this other task. Oh yeah, I should go build a gem because I keep opening these same 4 documents, all of the time.
Yeah, and it's okay to have student data in there.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
It is. That's really all I have for you today. You can feel free to hop off whenever you need, or I am good to go. I will be here for a while. If you want to stick around, we can build something together, ask questions. Otherwise, have an excellent weekend with all of the things you're doing or not doing. And I hope to see you soon in your buildings, or right here. Some of you are sitting right here.